Welcome to Old Calvary Cemetery in Salinas, California. Unfortunately, I have to do this narration via voiceover because all the video I took today was way too windy and it was very, very distorted. But as you can see, this is the outside of the cemetery. It is quite barren. I'm the only person there today. There's not even a parking lot. I get the sense that the cemetery is very poorly attended, which is would be expected because it shut down in 1960. There is a very rickety ramp that I'm walking up here to get into the cemetery. You have to go through that gate, and it is unlocked, and I don't even know if they lock it at night, but that's the entrance. There are some great fixtures around, but they are in a great state of disrepair, as you can see. Some wooden crosses marking unknown tombs are leaning. Some markers are broken and in bad shape. But this video kind of gives you a sense of the cemetery as a whole. People have worked there recently, but not very recently. Some of the flags are laying on the ground. The grounds are quite untidy, not a lot of grass, a lot of gravel. That's to be expected to some degree because we don't get an awful lot of rain out here in Salinas. But if you look carefully, you will see patches of weeds and fallen over flags and just trash laying around everywhere. It's sad because it is not kept up very well, but it's quite clear that at one point it was a pretty magnificent cemetery with some pretty remarkable markers and stonework that you can see there. This is the inside of a mausoleum that is in a terrible shape, a state of disrepair. This is the outside of that mausoleum, which is probably the biggest building in the entire facility. It's very pretty on the outside, very well designed, but oddly enough, even though people are buried on the inside of this crypt or mausoleum, the people that run the cemetery have chosen to put chairs in the inside, which seems disrespectful to the dead, perhaps. But it's you can see some signs of digging over there, which is a little bit troubling, seeing as how that grave is quite old. Just looking around, you get the sense that this was once a beautiful place, but now isn't. Broken off headstone here, poor quality headstone. Here's some plastic decorations that have been smashed by somebody. This is a headless statue, a headless saint carrying a cross. It's quite striking to see and very interesting, but a little bit on the disturbing side. Here we have another part of the cemetery that's been dug in. That headstone was represents somebody who was buried in the 1920s, so there should be no reason whatsoever for there to be fresh digging there. That's a little bit disturbing. Here's some of the nicer monuments and pictures around the cemetery. Some really excellent marble and stonework is to be found here. Some really large cemetery gravestones. That one was of Mr. Graves, who built the cemetery. Some great crosses and statues, even though it's a very small area. Beautiful angel statue there. The cemetery itself is built in 2 acres. You can see a broken down pot at the foot of that plot. And this is the work of a group that restored the cemetery in 2005. 20 years ago or so, it must have looked great. Now, today, not so much. Here's the poor section of the cemetery with lots of unmarked graves. And then there's also some marked graves like that are very, very simple. The poor section is on the sides and in the corners, but also all throughout the cemetery. There's some gravestones mixed in that are very obviously not of rich people. Well, thanks for watching.